Hello, this is part 8 of a video tutorial series on how to code the Asteroids game in Scratch. And what I want to concentrate on in this video is what happens when the last rock is destroyed off the screen. And so I've got to the end of a game here. I lost one life as I was going along, but I've managed to make it. And you can see that after the last rock's been destroyed, really nothing much happens. And obviously normally you would expect to go up a level with some faster gameplay and more rocks or different things happening, but in this particular game it just kind of grinds to a halt. So one problem that we've got to solve is how the computer knows that the last of the rocks has been destroyed. Because after all, in the blocks that are available, there's no particular block that says the number of clones or the number of sprites on the screen or anything like that. So I can't write a statement like, if the last ship is destroyed, what happens? Because there's no such block. So I need to deal with this programmatically. So I'm going to create a variable which is going to count the number of rocks. And it needs to be for all sprites because a few of these sprites need to be able to read this variable. And what's going to happen is every time a new rock is created, this variable is going to increase by 1. And every time a rock is destroyed, the variable is going to decrease by 1. So I need to find all the occasions when rocks are made and rocks are deleted. So here's one. So this is going to change the count rocks by 1. And I'm only changing it by 1 because I put it inside this repeat loop, so it actually does it 6 times over to match the creation of the clone. And I'm going to use that general technique every time. So here's another occasion. This is when large rocks are destroyed and small rocks are created. So that needs to increase by 1. Now, here is an occasion when a rock is destroyed. So I need to change the count rocks variable by -1 on this occasion, so that it goes down by 1. And another occasion when rocks are destroyed is here, when the small rocks are touched by the lightning. So that's going to be decreased by 1 as well. And also what I need to do is, because the computer won't do this automatically, is every time the flag is clicked, I'll need to set this variable to 0. Otherwise it will just keep getting bigger and bigger if I leave the game before I've deleted all the rocks, before I've exploded all the rocks. So let's see how this works. And what I expect to happen here is if I manage to make it to the end of the game, it should increase every time a rock is made, which it has been doing, and it should decrease every time a rock is destroyed. I've got 3 rocks right at the edge of the screen here. They can be quite difficult to shoot at the edge of the screen, but there we are. When that burst open into 4 smaller rocks, they were all destroyed. Here's another one. 2 left. So I'm quite pleased with the way this count rocks variable is working. So this is how the computer is going to know that I've destroyed all the rocks, because there will be none left, and this will read 0. So the next thing is to use that idea in a loop. I'll turn this off so that I can't see it anymore. And in the main gaming loop for the ship, I'm going to make some room here because this is going to get a bit longer. I'm going to put an if statement to control what happens if this variable gets to 0. So let's put that in there. And I need the count rocks variable. So if count rocks equals 0, what do I want it to do? Well, I'm just going to leave that hanging in the gaming loop for now while I decide what's going to happen. Now, my lives have been controlled by the stage and the stage backdrops. So I have 4 backdrops, one for each life, and then a game over backdrop. And I'm going to create another backdrop. I don't want to choose it, I want to actually just make it. So let's duplicate this. And rather than saying game over, it's going to say next level. I'll make sure that that is actually in the center. And so when this gets to 0, I can switch the backdrop to backdrop 5. So it says next level. Now, I don't want it to hang around on backdrop 5 forever, but I do want the player to be able to see it. So I'm going to wait 1 second in between, and then I'm going to switch the backdrop to backdrop 1 again. Now, this will mean that the player will get all their lives replenished because the way I've been handling the number of lives is through the backdrops. So if we switch to backdrop 1 every time, then the player is going to get all their 3 lives back again. Now, I'm quite happy with that for simplicity at the moment, but later on we might want to change how that works. After it's been switched to backdrop 1, I will want to reset it to 0, 0, point in direction 0, and set speed to 0 again. Because if the player is at the edge of the screen, then they're immediately going to be destroyed. So I'll put restart ship. And I'm going to see how this works. Okay, welcome back everybody. I've just done a quick edit so that you didn't have to watch me play the game all over again. And so now we can find out what happens when the last rock is deleted. So let's see. Okay, not allowing me to restart the game. I keep jumping back to the next level screen and it just keeps flickering on and off. Let's see if we can see why that's happening. So it switches to backdrop 5, which is next level. It waits 1 second, then it switches to backdrop 1, then it restarts, but then it seems to go straight to backdrop 5 again. And what I think is happening here is if I just look at the variables, this count rocks variable, I'll switch it on, stays on 0. So if it's on 0, it's going to go straight through this loop again and switch to backdrop 5. Wait 1 second and then go backdrop 1. So before it exits this loop, it needs to create some more rocks. So this piece of code here needs to be tucked inside this particular loop here. Let's just check what goes on here. Doesn't need to do the set count rocks to 0 because that is going to be 0. I need to repeat 6, change rock count by 1, and create a clone of rocks. I could actually make a custom block to do that, but let's just do it with a repeat loop this time. So it needs to say repeat 6. Change count rocks by 1. And then create a clone of rocks. And that's going to be tucked in there just after the ship goes back to the center. All right, I'm going to try this game again. I won't bore you, so I'll make a little edit. All right, welcome back again. And, oh, that happened very quickly. 1 second felt very short then. But you saw the next level screen, and this restarted the game. So in the next video, I think I'm going to make it so that something different happens on the next level. And what I'd like to happen is more rocks are created. So that's it for this video for now.